All right, guys, Will here from vitalsage.com. Today we're going to be looking at a few different muscles around the calf area that are going to help us get better blood flow to our feet when we release them in the process of trying to get rid of plantar fasciitis. So those three muscles that I'll talk about are going to be the gastrocnemius, which is kind of like the big ball shape of your calf, the soleus, which is actually just under the gastrocnemius. We're going to focus kind of in the middle of the lower leg here. And then the last one is called the posterior tibialis, which actually runs kind of on the inside of the lower leg, down like this, around that little ankle bone and into the foot. That's a big one too. So we're going to be working on releasing those because the problem with plantar fasciitis is that you're actually just not getting blood flow into your feet, and that's what's causing the pain. So we're going to be using myofascial release to break up some of those adhesions that are a little further up your leg in those muscles I just showed. And we're just going to be doing some simple things that when we break up those adhesions are just going to allow better blood flow down there, and you probably will be able to even feel it at that moment if you're doing it correctly. So what we're going to do is, I've got a couple things with me and it's up to you what you use, but I've got a massage ball and I have a foam roller. I'm not too particular on what kind of each thing you use. I use pretty standard ones and they pretty much always do the job. So first one we're going to do, and this is for the gastrocnemius, is we're going to, and I'm just going to try to give you guys the best view that I can. I'm going to lay this here on the ground, and what we're going to do is, for this release on the gastrocnemius, we're actually going to use our own shin bone to release the gastrocnemius on the opposite leg. So what I'm going to do is, this is laid down. I'm going to have my ankle over the ball, so my leg is a little bit raised down here, and then what I'm going to do is use the shin bone on the opposite leg, and I'm going to push it into that calf musculature. And just like with all the other plantar fasciitis, well, really all myofascial release techniques, I'm just going to look around for spots that feel tender. So as soon as you're applying pressure and you feel an area that feels tender, feels like if you held it down with some of your weight, it would hurt, that's where you need to be. So find those kind of spots, 20 to 30 seconds on each of those. And what you're gonna do is you're finding those tender spots and you're basically just pressing down on them, or if you can press it against like a bone or something, let's say, to a point where it actually stops and holds, press it against that then, wherever it stays, and do about 20 to 30 seconds of good pressure. The more pressure you put on, and unfortunately the more pain there is, the better result you're gonna get. So this is very much about, going through the pain, doing the hardest work instead of the most work. We're trying to get through these kind of things quickly, because we can just roll over the calves all day, we can roll the feet all day, nothing's going to happen, you're still going to be in pain. I'm trying to get you out of pain, and this is what actually got me completely out of pain. I don't have plantar fasciitis anymore, and it's because I did things like these, and there were a few times specifically that I did, and it changed me forever. So that's what I'm showing you here. So one more time with that one. I've got the leg I'm targeting is on the foam roller elevated, and then my opposite leg, I'm just crossing it over, using the hard part of my shin bone, and I'm just seeking out areas that are tender. So honestly, I still do have tender spots. So I can find little spots, and I'm just, holding on them. And remember, the more weight or the more pressure you can do, the better. Of course, don't put yourself through too much pain, but just a comfortable amount of pain. And then even one thing you can do too and I'm just demonstrating here, is that that bottom leg that I have down, I get locked in on one of those spots, and then with my foot, I can actually, flex it any way that it can go. I can turn it, because what this does is it actually forces the underlying muscles to contract and relax. And that's a good thing, because that is going to encourage blood to circulate. And that's what this is all about. PF, plantar fasciitis, nothing more than a lack of blood flow. That's what the issue is in the bottom of your foot. That's why it hurts. So all we're trying to do is encourage better blood flow. Any way we can do that, we'll do it. So that was the gastrocnemius release. We're just staying with simple things here. That was the gastrocnemius release. Try that one out, do it on both legs. Then we also have the soleus release, which is going to be very similar, but just lower down the leg. Just like I said, it's below that ball. So the ball here, we're gonna be more in the soleus here. And again, we're just seeking out different spots that are tender. 20 to 30 seconds on the tender spots, hold them down. Move that bottom foot if you have to. And if you feel a release, if you feel like you released the area that you are on, or you feel like you did enough to that spot for now, move on from it. Move a couple millimeters down. Move a couple millimeters to the side. Wherever you find another area that needs attention. And then move on from there. And then, so my last one I'm going to show is the posterior tibialis. That's the one that runs on the inside of the leg and goes down around the ankle bone into the foot. This is a big one too. I remember this one making a difference for me as well. So I've done variations of this one. I have at times had no tools available to me. So I've just used either like fingers or knuckles, or I've probably even done my elbow as well. The more you do myofascial release, the more you'll realize it kind of doesn't matter what you use as long as you use it well. I mean, you technically could just use your own body. Like we just saw, I was using my own shin on my calf. So anyway, though, for the purposes of this, and at the beginning, I would say it's best to use tools. So very similar to the last one. Try to back up so you can see me better. I'm just finding spots that are near the shin bone on the inside of the lower leg. And I'm just looking for spots that are tender. And again, I still have these as well, so I can definitely find some. And I'm actually almost like underpinning it. I'm like digging in there and I'm finding an adhesion, and I'm actually pushing it into my shin bone. Sounds a little gross, not as bad as you think. But, and again, hold it for 20-30 seconds, move down. You can take this all the way down, getting close to your ankle. I actually tend to have the worst problems down near my ankle. Some people have it in the meat of their calves. Some people have it closer to here. I tend to be towards the bottom of the lower leg, so that's just me. But yours could be anywhere. But either way, whatever it is, you're just looking for the tender spots wherever they are. Spend 20-30 seconds on all of them and see how far you can get. And really what you're looking for is you should actually feel a little bit of tingle down in your feet and your toes. And the reason why is because you will have unknotted one of the adhesions that's in your leg, and you've basically just kind of opened the dam, like you've allowed the blood to get through there easier now. And this is a very narrow channel for the blood to be getting through. So remember that we want very good circulation here, because there is not much real estate for that blood to get through. So when it gets limited up in here, it becomes very hard for the bottom of your foot, the plantar surface, to get properly nourished. So that's why it's in pain. So anyway, try those. I'm gonna have depending on where you're coming from, you may be coming from the plantar fasciitis document, or you may be coming from a blog article. But either way, I'm gonna have an article linked under this video, so check it out. And if you are with the PF document, really apply those exercises. Like I said, these are very important. These are what got me out of pain. I would put myofascial release as the #1 thing that helped me overcome plantar fasciitis. So anyway, check out the article below, and I'll see you next time.